Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're talking about the TV show Ghosts on CBS. This is the United States version of Ghosts of the same name from the UK. It was originally adapted from the British series by the current showrunners Joe Port and Joe Wiseman, and it premiered on CBS on October 7th, 2021. It has since gained a very devoted following. The show has an overall reported rating of 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fantastic for having 4 seasons out. The 5th season will premiere next week, if my math is correct, in 10 days on October 16th, if you're listening to this on release day. And it has already been renewed for a season 6. So we're already guaranteed one more year after this year, flat out, which I think is fantastic. Ghosts is about a couple, Sam and Jay, who are played by Rose McIver, who we know as the lovely Tinkerbell from Once Upon a Time, and Utkarsh Budakar, I think is how you say his last name.
And Budakar.
They are a couple from New York City who inherited a house in the Hudson Valley region of New York that is haunted by ghosts of people who have died on the property over the centuries. So when they start to renovate it to turn it into a B&B, the ghosts try to scare Sam and Jay, but accidentally cause Sam to trip on a vase, causing her to have a near-death experience, and now she can see the ghosts.
The show follows this group's antics as the ghosts now have a living they can communicate with, and Sam finally feels like she has a family among this madcap group of undead. She helps them with their disputes, learns more about their history and her own in the process, and maybe have a few of them move on. Or as they like to say at this show, sucked off.
Yes, they have getting sucked off is what it means get to move on. Going down on them is what happens if they get sucked into hell. Which apparently
the innuendos are phenomenal.
Well, the getting sucked off part, I believe, was taken straight from the UK version.
Oh, I love that.
Which I think they did with they did with permission from the original showrunners. But yeah, so it's a real weird TV show that a friend of mine, I was visiting her for a few days, and she was like, I have this really weird show that I think you would enjoy. And so she just sat me down, and I'm like, yep, yeah, this is a good show. I want to keep watching this. So I think at the time, I think I ended up binge. I watched it like piece by piece. Like I binged like season 1 and then didn't watch any for a little while. And then I binged 2 and 3 real fast.
And then you have me. You got me to watch it. You're like, you got to watch this show. It's really good. We weren't going to talk about it on the podcast like as a normal show. So I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. I'll jump on this. I binged the whole thing.
You did.
I did not stop watching it. I needed that though, I think at the time, because between Once Upon a Time and How We're Doing Bob's and all the things we do for the podcast, I was like, I need a binge show really bad, because yes, I am one of those people. I need to actually binge something from time to time. Like I need something on. And not something that I've seen. Like I need to binge a show sometimes. And Ghost was that show for me at the time.
Yeah. So the ghosts that are the main ghosts, because we see other ghosts pop in here and there, but I'll talk about the main grouping. I'm going to try and go in chronological order because that'll make the most sense. But we start with Thor, who is the Viking who was killed about 1,000 years ago. Then we have Sasapis, who is a Lenape storyteller. Okay, so that, and then Isaac would be next, I think.
Isaac would be next.
He's the Revolutionary War officer. Still, and then did Hetty? Yeah, Hetty was first. So then you have Hetty, who is Sam's distant relative, Hetty Woodstone, who is the the robber baroness of the group. And then after her would be Alberta, who is a singer from the 1920s. You got some Flapper era stuff with her backstory, which I love. And then next would be Flower, who is a hippie who wandered onto the property after a music festival that they just keep saying based off of timing. They're implying that it's Woodstock, even though that doesn't make sense for actual Woodstock history. But she got high and tried to hug a bear. That's what happened there. Then we have Pete, who is a scout leader from the 80s who got shot by one of his troop members. And so he has an arrow in his through the neck, which that's continual. They also took that from the original series as well. There was a scout leader who got shot in the neck. And then the most recent ghost is Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor.
Who is basically a finance bro from the early 2000s.
Yeah, he's a stockbroker from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I think he died in the early 2000s.
He says a lot of 90s stuff, but that's just because He
Well,
was in
yeah,
college in the 90s.
well, yeah, that's the thing is because he definitely died pre 2008 crash.
Yeah.
So he's very early 2000s is when he passed away with the hero move
The
because
hero move.
he causes him to not wear any pants.
So everybody's got their like intricacies and their
Yeah.
personalities, and it's just there's nothing funnier than putting all these different people from different time periods
Mm-hmm.
all in the same room. It is
Yeah.
so like it's truly comedic genius.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I enjoy it mostly because they also, since they're dead, they have no filters.
Exactly, because they haven't
There's no
needed
filter. They
to.
can say whatever they want. Enter Sam.
Exactly, because previous to Sam being there, no one could ever see them, so it didn't matter what they said or how they like spy. Like, one of the things was about like that they spy. They're like, what else do you think we do all day? Because they can't. Is the wonderful. I like that the show pokes fun at its own rules or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Because they can walk on the floors. That's no problem. They can't open doors. They go through walls.
They lay in the beds.
They can lie in the beds. They sleep for whatever reason.
They can sit in furniture.
Yes, they can interact with furniture. But then, of course, if they fall into a hole, that then becomes a problem because the hole is just all wall, which they go right through, so they can't climb out of the hole. And that, honestly, that was a good. I would say spoilers, but we're talking about the whole series as it is. In season 3, they had 2 pregnancies they had to cover up. One was Rose McIver's, and one was Sheila Carrasco, who plays Flower. The issue with that being, ghosts can't get pregnant,
and they can't change.
They can't really change. So like, while Rose, they were able to just kind of hide her behind like desks and big sweaters.
They did the classic sitcom of hiding her pregnancy, and it was adorable. Yeah. I love that so many shows will still do that, even though we all can tell.
Yeah,
it's almost like they just do it out of tradition, and it just makes me happy when they do it.
I love on The Nanny when Lauren Lane, who played Cece, got pregnant. They like not only did they while having her do that, she pointed out another sitcom that did that. She's talking about like on Seinfeld, and she's like, Elaine must have been, I don't know, 11 months pregnant, and they didn't even acknowledge it. They just had her hide behind these huge props that she has a giant bag that she switches from one arm to the other as she turns, and then picks up a flower pot and goes, "This needs more water," and walks off set. Like,
I love it.
I love what. So in their case, they can't really do that with a ghost. So they had Flower get stuck in a hole for the entire season until they could bring her back.
I also just love they all have their special abilities that all pertain to somewhat how they died.
Yeah.
So like Thor fucks with the lights.
Because he was struck by lightning.
Sasapius can go into people's dreams.
Yep, because he was a storyteller.
Hetty. So when they finally showed Hetty's,
it can be useful, but it's unfortunate for her because like all of their powers are useful to an extent. Because Hetty's is because of a self-revelation, if you want to explain.
No, you do it.
Okay, so Hetty...
You're better at that.
In Hetty's case, so Hetty... A running gag that they had, because Hetty is a robber baroness of the 1800s, whatever. She... And, like, they have the characters grow, because it was the actor who plays Isaac that said this. They're not time travelers. They're going to learn and grow in the time that they've been haunting the property. So, like, for the most part, they tend to come around to just certain things. But one thing that Hetty just can't really seem to get over is her real racism against the Irish, which, unfortunately for her, in season 4, she learns she actually is partially Irish. So when she learns this, that awakens her ghost power, because their ghost powers don't always show up immediately. It depends on contacts and things happening. However, Hetty's ghost power is she can be seen by the living, but only on St. Patrick's Day.
Which is hilarious.
It's great. I mean, it opens the floodgates for at least another holiday episode that we hopefully might get every year.
Which is I would like that. I like the holiday episodes, which we will talk about, but we have more powers still.
Yeah, let's talk more about. We have more. Yeah, and like at this point, we've seen all of the main We've seen all the main ghosts' powers.
All of them, because then
Eddie's was the last one.
But if you go up the line, so then you have Roberta.
She can sing humming. And her humming. It can be her as like a ghostly hum.
And then you've got,
but with that, more useful than that, because of that, she can be heard by Amazon Echo devices and like smart devices.
Yes, she can.
Which is very useful. That's very useful, which they never use after that first episode that they really revealed.
They should use it more. They tend to lean towards Trevor instead, but we have Pete. Yeah. He can travel.
Yeah, he was a travel agent.
So, because like, you can't leave the property line. from where you've died, but Pete can. He starts to disappear if he's gone for too long, though.
Yes, but we learned that
Oh
like
my
the more
goodness.
you do it, the better at it you get. We skipped Flower when she
Oh
walks through people.
yeah,
When she walks through people, they
and
just get
Isaac.
high. And oh yeah, and Isaac. So
There's
yeah,
a lot of characters.
yeah. With Flower, when she walks through people, they just get high temporarily.
And then
And Isaac.
Isaac, yeah, sorry. Isaac causes similar effect when he walks
When
through people.
yeah, when people walk through him, it just smells really, really bad
He
because
died of dysentery.
he did. He died of dysentery.
And
Trevor.
then Trevor can actually touch things.
Kind of. It takes a while.
Because I think that's what they kind of lean more towards, is that they started having Trevor like order things on Sam's phone or
He
type in
got a
things.
job online.
He got a job. He starts like texting and like actually flirting with people. Like he actually has
catfished Jay's sister.
He did. He catfished Jay's
He
sister.
didn't actually catfish her. He just didn't reveal the fact that he was dead.
I feel like that's a catfish. You need to be alive to date.
Fair.
And we have that in there too. They have some relationships that happen because when you end up with that many ghosts in one place, they're still people. They're just dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So like they can still canoodle with each other since they can touch each other.
They just can't take their clothes off.
How does that work?
We've learned that though, because that was a thing. Content warning for just for Hetty's cause of death. She has a cord wrapped around her neck. So which they use to help Flower get out of the hole. Because if she can hold on to it, because the thing is that when you die, anything that's on your person stays on your person, but you basically have to be holding on to it the whole time because otherwise it'll just zap back to you. But one of them makes a comment of Trevor like you guys were doing it. Did you never notice? He went, there's a lot of layers in the 1800s clothing, so like there wasn't a whole lot of nudity apparently.
Yeah,
amongst the ghosts. Which we'll talk about Trevor and Hetty's relationship in a little bit.
There's definitely some interesting relationships. I love that Flower and Thor, figured their thing out. It was very cute. You've got everything kind of going on between Pete and Roberta right now that we don't.
It's budding into that right now is budding at the end of season 4 into 5.
And then apart from that, it's Sasape's finally met somebody.
Yeah, Sass has a girlfriend. Another ghost that can travel.
500-year-old version.
He got there.
It just took 500 years.
It did, but some people are just late bloomers. What can we say?
And then I think that leaves Hetty and Trevor. I don't think there's anything else going on romantically with the ghost outside of that.
Not currently. Well, there was Isaac and the and the British soldier that he shot.
Because Isaac figures out his sexuality after death.
Yes. Which it falls into the thing of they're not time travelers. They're going to learn things about themselves and about culture and everything. And I think that was a good lesson to learn of sometimes you don't have to be with the person who feels like the only one available if they're not the right person for you.
I mean, enemies to lovers. That was a really long enemies to lovers trope going there, but they made it and then they lost it. But can you get more queer than that?
No, it took centuries.
But then you have Hetty and Trevor, which is I think my favorite.
That one, I still am not unconvinced they're not going to put them back together, or we're going to find out that they've secretly been together this entire time, honestly.
Because they're still canoodling.
They're in their power friend mode, and that it feels like because they feel like they're the most powerful people in the house, so they kind of like use that to their advantage to manipulate everybody else. But the two of them really were a ship that when I first found out that was a ship, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then I watched it and I was like, oh no, this makes perfect fucking sense. Because also Hetty is my favorite character, which should shock nobody. She's played by Rebecca Wazaki. She is the older woman of the group. This
How are we not surprised?
Well, she's literally on my Paramount Plus account when they added ghosts and everything. Well, for a while I had never changed my. I think I had it on Legend of Korra was the
mine
thing.
Is Squidward.
Well, when I was getting my friend who actually got me to watch the show, I got her signed into my Paramount Plus for a little while. We were looking at those. That's when I saw that there were other shows, and there was Why Women Kill was on there. So I made it Lana for a while, and then the next time I was at her house, she went in. She went, "You changed your icon." I went, "Yeah," because it wasn't Lana anymore. It was Hetty. She went, "You changed Hetty off of Lana Parrilla?" I was like,
That's a big deal.
To be fair, though, the picture they had of Lana, it kind of felt like she was like staring into my soul. It was getting creepy.
Yeah, I could see
Like,
that.
so the pictures they have for like those like profile icons aren't always the best framed pictures.
So I have like Sam's my favorite character.
I love Sam.
Her relationship with Jay is just absolutely adorable. I love Jay's character too because
He
he can't
is
see anything.
he can't. He is a wife guy though. Like he's like a
He
genuine wife guy.
is. It's the fucking best. Out of the ghosts, it's always between Thor and Flower. Like,
Landship.
okay, it's Thor.
Like,
Landship.
how often do you just say landship at me?
So, like, I do it all the time now, actually.
Like, there was I think it was the Jolly Roger episode of Once Upon a Time that like I talk about them being land pirates. That's the blooper that I posted. That was just you going landship.
Which is funny because also we had a landship episode of Bob's Burgers.
Uh-huh.
And the whole time we just kept landship. So for context, if you haven't watched the show, if you're listening to this and you haven't, like,
who the fuck is,
stop
what the fuck
and
is
go watch. Like,
yeah,
go watch.
Ghost, please.
Stop listening to this. Come back. But Thor, when he sees cars in like the first season, just yells landship. Well, which is great because then you have Roberta who's like, we know you know what a fucking car is. Like,
well, you know, exactly, because like because that's part of his bit is that he uses like these terms that he's come up with because the English isn't his first language, which makes sense. But like he did that one time and he said something about like landship seats being made of cow, and one of them goes, "We know you know what leather is."
Mm-hmm. It's great. I love Flower just for like the actual, you know, that she gets people high when she walks through them. I'm like, haunt my house, baby. Please come haunt my house.
She's such a good character. Because again, she's such a good character because she's one of those characters that you have to be very smart to play. Because it's a very fine balance because she's high the whole time, but Flower as a person was very smart. She was a lawyer. Yes, she did get sucked into a couple of cults and communes and not so great situations, but
she's no matter how intelligent you are, you can still be brainwashed to join a cult.
Exactly. So like she's very, very smart. And every once in a while she does put things together, but then the curse of her being high for all eternity just kind of goes. But I do appreciate though that I think it was this season they figured out that ghosts can get high.
Yeah.
Because
I actually just rewatched that episode. They get into a car
with one
of Jay's employees and he's hotboxing his car. It's the 420 episode. They did a 420 episode. And Flower's just sitting there while everyone else is high off their ass. She's just like, y'all have no tolerance. She's sitting there giggling.
Yeah.
Not because she's high. She's just kind of like, I'm not feeling anything. Like,
at her state, you wouldn't.
This is weak. And everyone else around her is zooted. Completely zooted. And it is, I love it. I love that episode so much.
Yeah. But I like we get like the lore drops, not just of like their backstories, but just of like we were talking about before, like the ghost rules and everything. Like ghosts can get hotboxed randomly. We figured this out. Or like stuff with the property and everything. Or I like when the ghosts all ask each other like those things of like, if we can walk through walls, why can we lie on furniture? Like they just think they every once in a while they stop and think, huh, these rules don't make a lot of sense.
Which is nice because like it's a way of showing we know it doesn't make any sense. It's not meant to.
Exactly.
But then you get to go into a little bit of it is the supernatural.
It's supernatural, and at its core, this is a screwball comedy, which, to be fair, always bends rules of reality anyway. We're just doing that with the added element of supernatural beings.
But then they still like to celebrate.
They do, and so we still have our lovely holidays and everything, which
because Sam loves the holidays.
Sam loves the holidays. I mean, you've got a show about ghosts. You're gonna have Halloween episodes.
You better.
Like, there's no reason not to, which also brings in more things. Like, they had the seance, which actually brought a ghost back, which was good. So we generally almost always have Halloween and Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had 1 or 2 Thanksgiving episodes.
Yeah, and then we got the 420 episode.
We had the 420 episode and the St. Patrick's Day episode.
And like I think you're right. I think we'll continue to get a St. Patrick's Day episode because they can't like show Hetty's power
and then never,
and that's what it is, and then not use it continually at least one episode of a season. So like I hope because all the other ghosts get to use their talents constantly.
Yeah, for the most
constantly. Like Roberta's probably the one that uses her least.
Which because honestly, I think hers is one of the most useful ones because she can communicate with the outside world.
But she
Like,
doesn't.
she doesn't. Like, if she could just say, like, Alexa, say this. Like, you can have Alexa just repeat what you say.
She is from the 1920s. Give her time.
Well, mostly she just uses it to have it spout facts about, or because they also watch TV because Trevor can use the remote, so she just mostly wants to interact with the world, as in Jason Momoa.
Yeah, that's true too.
Which is fair. I do love Hetty's bodices and barons, whatever that TV show is. It's basically Bridgerton. Because like they all find things about modern technology that they love. They all love watching TV and different. Oh god, what is the stupid reality show that's like Love Island but with coats that they have?
Yeah,
Like Too Hot to Handle, or whatever. Because they're all just
something
like
like that.
wearing parkas and then they find out how attractive the other people are. Like this is clearly people that love the absurdity that is television that are running
Oh
this
yeah.
show.
Well, they're writing absurdity, but like in a
Well, yeah.
great way.
Well, because like everything that all of like the fake things that they put in, because they mishmash on like actual real things, like we mentioned with Trevor, he loves the cutting edge, like that's a real movie, like it's because he's someone that has context
It's
for.
a good movie.
It's a good movie. He's someone that has context for any kind of like not semi, but at least recentism in the last 40 years. Like,
Pre-Razor cell phones.
yes, pre-Razor cell phone pop culture. So
that's a very indicative time.
You know it is, but it's
like
perfect.
That's actually a really good because that's about 2008.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. So like
I'm old.
They have to bring in real things, but at the same time, they mention Hamilton constantly because of Isaac. So it's a good time to kind of. But I like that when they bring in the fake things, because that's the kind of thing of like, there's only so many things you can get the rights to using. Like, I'm gonna assume I don't even know if they need the rights. Just mention the cutting edge as often as they do.
I don't think to mention something like that, you
No.
don't need the rights to use any visual representation, or I think even certain, of course, music or something like that.
Yeah.
You do need to get
that all needs licensing.
that. But if you're just in passing mentioning it in a line, I don't think that can get flagged for anything. But if they were to like show a shot of Hamilton on the TV,
that's
to
different.
Like prank Isaac,
yeah,
they would have to get the rights to that. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Isaac's story, his background. He has well, we found out
he's
the
a
actual
chaotic
backstory.
Queer.
He's a chaotic queer. He had a very tumultuous relationship with the actual Alexander Hamilton because he stole his rough. And now he just enjoys listening to or having Alberta ask Alexa to tell them how Alexander Hamilton died.
Which is hilarious.
But
also left the other soldier that he was in love with at the altar.
Well, because he wasn't right. I mean, to be fair, the guy he left him for, in theory, at the time wasn't dead. So there's that. Which, honestly, you're going to forget by the time this comes up anyway. I feel a little stupid for not realizing this, solely for the fact that in Ghosts he has a mustache and I'm at a different accent. That actor is significantly featured in season 6 of Once Upon a Time, and I did not realize it. The guy that played the stripper.
He's in Once Upon a Time?
He'll be in season 6. He's heavily, heavily featured. And I did not realize it was this until there was he said something in the last episode he was in where I was like, no. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, that's him. Different accent. I don't know which one is natural. I have no idea. And in Ghost he has a mustache.
Look, I would have watched Ghost if it weren't for Rose, because of course, if you've listened to our actual podcast,
it was right there in like your Rose McIver binge session.
I had a very big Rose McIver because I've started seeing her as Tinkerbell in Once Upon a Time. Fell in love with her. I was like, she's adorable. I love her. Oh my god. Then binged the entirety of iZombie. And I binged it as quickly as I did, not just because I was really enjoying it, but it was about to be removed from Netflix. And you never know if it's going to pop up somewhere. You have that moment of like, oh, it'll be on something, right? And it's reached the point with streaming that's not the case.
Yeah.
I hope to finally maybe find it, try and buy it on DVD and own it. I love iZombie so much. It's one of my favorite shows because it's right up my alley. And so then, of course, I think I was I done with my binge by then?
I think you had just finished it.
I think I had just finished my iZombie binge, and you were like, guess what? Rose has another show.
And it's good.
But it's really good. And I was like,
watching
it had Ukhtarsh as well. So I was like, no, I love him too. because I watched The Mindy Project, love Uktar. So I was like, all right, no, this is good for me. I'm going to watch this. And then I binged that.
Which also if you haven't, at this point, I feel like for our generation, most people know him either from The Mindy Project or from the Pitch Perfect, first Pitch Perfect movie. But also for you, because watching them in such quick succession, you can really see the how much better Rose's American accent has gotten.
Oh, her accent gets better and better. Her acting has just gone leaps and bounds. Like in Tinkerbell, she does a great job. Of course, she still has the New Zealand accent.
Because
right?
I think it helps. I think with Tinkerbell it helps because it is her natural accent. Because a lot of times, and I noticed that with Once Upon a Time a lot. For the most part, unless it was really necessary for the character, everyone uses their native accent. Because honestly, it's fairy tale land.
Easier.
Accents kind of don't matter. But you get a much more honest performance out of any actor, no matter how good they are at accents. You're always going to get a more honest performance.
It's better for fantasy, though.
With their native accent. Well, it was fantasy, especially because accents kind of don't matter. I was telling you before that I had an author reach out to me, and in the inquiry form, she just said, she's like, I know this character has an accent because I want that to differentiate them from the modern world where the main character comes from. But she's like, it doesn't matter what accent it is, whatever works for you. I'm like, okay, British accent it is.
Yeah, that's the way to go for that. But then you watch her in iZombie and you can hear when she slips sometimes. I love it. You can kind of hear it because especially in the beginning, it did slip here and there. You could tell her vowels were off or something like that.
Vowel sounds are the hardest, man.
In Ghosts, you would think she's American.
You would, and people are always surprised to find out about that. The one that really gets me is when she gets possessed in the Christmas episode. Her impression of Betsy, the actor that plays that character, for the first time I saw the first clip of that, I was like, did they dub that? I'm like, oh no, that's just Rose.
She did a phenomenal job.
It's so good. And I saw a Comic-Con video, I think it was last year's Comic-Con, that they were talking, and one of them said that because a lot of these people mostly come from comedy, of the ones that were actors beforehand, and especially with the guy that plays Pete and with Utkarsh, they're big comedy people, they riff off each other, that's not a problem. She was concerned about doing the comedy, and I honestly think I don't know how much is improv, how much isn't. I think she holds her own compared to the rest, along with the rest of them, honestly.
She's a phenomenal actress. I think she does really well. She plays this character well. And obviously we've seen her in plenty to know that she can play just about anything. She really is that good. And I don't know, there's just something about her. I just really enjoy watching her act.
And that's okay.
Maybe that's how you are with Lana. I'm like,
sometimes
Rose, I just could watch everything she's done. I love it. I'm like that with Brie Larson. Because for me, it's not just the fact that I love her. It's just for the fact of she's that and Florence Pugh. Give me all of their work. They are such good actors.
I did finally start watching The Rainmaker last night.
How is it?
So far it's good. So far it's, Lana is very good in it, but also just it's a legal procedural that I would watch anyway. Not procedural, but it's a legal drama that I would watch anyway. So, but Lana has said that character is probably the closest she's come to playing herself, just personality wise and also costume wise.
And you're loving it then.
She looks so happy. Is one of those things of when you can tell when an actor is in it's with the whole cast of Ghosts, I would say. You can tell when an actor is just happy in the role, in the job. And yet it's a job. They're always going to have days where it's not going to be 100%. But especially watching her in the press and everything, she's so happy. And I haven't seen that from her in a very long time. And it's just very nice to see.
And I do want to also touch on the fact too, that Uktarsh was not originally going to do this.
He basically got begged by Rose.
No, he got forced. To the point, I remember seeing the interview. I think we watched the same one where he's just I would not be here if Rose had not pushed for this. Because the original Ghost, I'm assuming the husband is also a person of color.
Yes, I believe so.
So that's how she was cut. She was like, nope, this has to be we're not gonna just hire a white guy to be my husband. I want Uktarsh. Uktarsh needs to be the one who does this role. This is who we need. And she would continually bug him and be like, you need to do this role. I want you to do this role. She bullied him
She
essentially
did, yeah.
into making him go for it. And
Mhm.
but he is it's not in a way of like that he's upset or anything like that. He admits himself that he's just like, I'm so happy she did that because he loves playing this character.
Yeah.
I feel like this character is probably close to his personality as well, like playing Jay. Like I
Mhm.
feel like there's so much of that, but I'm just like, we're just watching Uchtars right now. We're not
Yeah.
watching Jay. This is just him and his personality.
Yeah. Well, because they're all having fun. This is filmed in Montreal. And so like for a lot of them, they're away from home for, for however
Mhm.
long it takes them to, which the fact that this is filmed in Montreal is why I thought at first that Rebecca Wazaki was a Canada native, because she's in one episode of Once Upon a Time for, I don't
Yeah.
know, a minute and a half. So I assumed she was like like, oh, that film's Vancouver, this is Montreal. That makes sense. I was like, no, she's based in LA. That makes no sense. But Sheila Carrasco, who plays Flower, recently they sold their house in LA and they moved to Woodstock, New York. Which, from what I see on Instagram, where they live, the area that they are is very nice. But I'm sure that definitely helps, because New York to get into Montreal is much easier. So like
Mhm.
she's got a little kid. It's I understand that for a wanting to go home more easily, like if she has to. Because like they're away from home for 9 months out of the year, give or
Yeah.
take, and it's one of those things of like, network television is great, but the hours and like the time commitment is just a lot to be away from home. So I haven't run into her, Reg. One of these days, because it's, without doxing myself, I'm not terribly far from where she now lives.
Yeah.
I also live in the show takes place in the Hudson Valley. I live in the Hudson Valley, which is a big area. So
Very big area.
I'm not, it's bigger than people. This is going to be, this is my opinion. Everyone's opinion is their own opinion on what these different areas of New York are. The Hudson Valley, to me, this will make sense to anyone from New York.
And to me, because I've been lectured before.
You have. Starts, to me, I hesitate to say it starts with Westchester. Sometimes it depends on how, when I'm talking to people, it depends on if I like them or not, if I started with Westchester or not. But
Mm.
mostly I started Rockland County and that area. Hudson Valley goes from there, I would say, up until about just from there to just south of Albany. That's the section that I consider the Hudson Valley. And like most people, like, the good way of saying this is, isn't the Hudson Valley just like the counties that surround the Hudson River? Which they're not wrong. But the Hudson River
Fair.
goes very far away. And at some point, you're going to hit the capital region, which is where you get Albany and all that other stuff. So that's my general area for the Hudson Valley. It's bigger than people like to, and I'm sure you've got like Lower HUD, Mid HUD, Upper HUD, whatever you want to consider that. But that's for me the Hudson Valley. So they've specifically said Ulster County, which is the county where I went to college. So the fact that SAS is a Lenape makes sense, because actually one of the buildings on my campus was Lenape Hall.
Oh.
Because the newer buildings all have better names. The older buildings, for a while, they renamed them since, but when I went there, the older buildings were named after like the settling families of the area, which unfortunately means slave owners. And
Yeah.
students took umbrage with that, and they petitioned to get the buildings renamed, and they did.
Oh, to live up north.
They, I'll say this: they went a little far with this, and they didn't win part of it. They wanted to rename the dining hall, which the dining hall did get renamed, but they wanted to rename it in memory of an employee who had recently passed away.
Mhm.
I understand why, but the school was like, we respect his memory, we miss him dearly. We're not going to do that.
I can't say much. My high school mascot was a Confederate soldier, and there is a
Ooh,
Confederate monument in the middle of my tiny town that I live in.
I'm so sorry. My high school mascot was the Crusader. I don't know why.
I have Strom Thurmond. We're just going to move on.
But with the show being set in Ulster County, honestly, like what I can't say for Once Upon a Time was like, there is no area of Maine where you get from beach to forest that fast. I would say
Mhm.
like the area that they film in Montreal is about what I expect, like forest density wise, of what you expect in that county, and like properties like that you do see in that area.
Yeah.
So like that's not for people that like used to live, like, because Sam and Jay, like they started in New York City and they moved up north because of this. Like that all makes sense. And the ghosts that die on that property, makes sense for the area.
It does. Like, I don't think anything feels out of place with it.
No. It's well researched, which I can't say for a lot of other shows.
Like the two that we
like the two that we do for this podcast.
I say two, but Bob's is pretty good about their continuity.
It's better. It's better, but there's still some things where I'm like, that wouldn't happen in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
There's still parts of that where I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense.
They do much better with, I mean, sitcoms. It's the only way I feel like we get full episodes now.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Dramas don't really last as long, with the exception of like Law and Order. Dramas don't, like 42-minute dramas are kind of a dying breed.
They are. This, and while I know it's a sitcom and it's supposed to be funny and fun, there's really some serious parts on it because when you reach this point too, I'm starting to stress out a little bit because the point of them and everything that they're doing, like the whole storyline is that they all do want to move on.
Yeah.
So then you start to get a little emotional, a little sad because you get really into these characters and their dynamics, but then you're like, but you're watching the characters grow and be better people and do better, and you're just kind of sitting there like, shit, this is going to lead to somebody getting sucked off.
It is.
Like, that's the point.
My guess is, I don't know who it's going to be, but based off of the way that television contracts work, we're going to get one of the main cast, one of the main ghosts is going to get sucked off at the end of the season 6.
I think so too.
Because that's just timing wise with how like TV contracts are like 6 to 7 years depending on like where you're at in the process, which is why after a lot of shows end after 7 years.
Who do you think, based off of the growth that we have seen so far, who do you think will be the first to get sucked off?
Isaac or Hetty?
I don't want it to be Hetty.
I don't want it to be Hetty either. Hetty's my favorite. I want more of Hetty.
I feel like Hetty is so far gone though. She needs so much work.
But she's
like we just got her to feminism, guys.
We just got her to feminism, and the Irish are people too. Like
Isaac would make sense, but I feel like Sasapi's.
I think my thing with Hetty is I think she shows the most growth because we see, you know, she, especially with knowing that her son killed Roberta and how she atoned for that and letting everyone else know what happened to her to save her friend. She, I think, has shown the most growth. I don't know how much further she has to go.
I'm sad about that.
I
don't want it to be Hetty, but Hetty makes sense.
I don't want it to be Hetty either because I want Hetty to find a new replacement for the washing machine. Like, she just figured out orgasms, guys. Like,
we just got her to like the most basic shit.
But I don't know how much further she has to go is the problem. So
because Flower's just kind of gone.
Yeah, well, because also even the show admits they don't know what causes a ghost to be stuck on Earth. They don't know. They assume it's some kind of level of unfinished business. But we've given, you know, some characters proper burials. Thor got a proper burial. Trevor got a memorial. That didn't do anything either. So we don't entirely. It's some level of unfinished business.
Yeah.
Like, which we only learned that with patience. Like, we only learned that from the cholera ghost that all he wanted to do was kiss a girl, and so he kissed the girl that died on prom night, and then he got sucked off. Like, sometimes it is just that simple. But and we use the getting sucked off so casually because that's the terminology.
That's how they do it.
It's how they do it. So it's
because we do have those issues with everything going down below as well. But
he went down on us.
He went down on us. But like, it makes me nervous because when you fall in love with a show like this and you're actually getting to watch it in real time and everything else, which is very nice. Yeah. I say in real time. It's not like I'm watching it as it premieres. It still is very much like we watched the first episode
week to week
of Bob's for season 16 the day after because I'm not staying. No, I'm good. I would avoid commercials. So
fair.
But it's watched in the same week. And I'm so nervous because you're right. We're very quickly reaching this point. And so that does mean that the show does have, like, it has to have a ending at some point. They can't push this forever. It's not one of those shows that can go on for Grey's Anatomy level. Like, you can do different iterations, different houses, different, places if you really want to keep that kind of comedy, but I wouldn't do that.
Well, it goes into like there's different adaptations of this show, which all have the same base concept all throughout the world. because this was based on the UK version, which I wrote down the different kinds of ghosts. That's just going to be tedious to list all of them. They all tend to have the same archetypes that fit along. Like they all have like there's always a ghost that is a distant relative of the person who inherits the house. There's always a character that doesn't have pants. There's always like a Neanderthal kind of character, so figure like Thor, but like it's like a caveman or something like that. There's always a character like that.
I'm looking through them and they're really funny.
There's always a scoutmaster and stuff, but there's different versions.
There's a Neanderthal in the German one.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
I love that.
So yeah, so there's like the other versions that have either been released or are coming out. There's also a French version, an Australian version, a German version, and a Greek version, all of the same base concept.
A headless man.
Yes. There's almost always like a war veteran of some kind.
I love the ancient Athenian woman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I won't list all of them.
I need to watch these. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm looking down the list. I'm like, can they subtitles are a thing?
I guess you have to find them though. But so like that. I mean, that's how you keep that going. But this is unfortunately, it's a show that will eventually have a shelf life. Either something's gonna either the ghosts are all gonna get sucked off or something, or Sam and Jay are gonna have to sell the house because the B&B is not the most profitable thing in the world.
No, the restaurant's getting better though.
The restaurant is getting better. So Jay is a chef, and so he opens a restaurant on the property, which like those kinds of like small niche like few table restaurants, like those do really well, especially in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So like the niche the better.
Watch the menu.
Mm-hmm. So it's a show that unfortunately has a shelf life, which
is sad.
It's sad, but I say this all the time. For something to be special, it has to end.
Don't say that. Shush.
I say that all the time.
Shush. We're not going to say that now.
But like, I say that in context to like people ask me about the Once Upon a Time reboots, and I'm like, don't bring it back. You're gonna mess it up. Like
they're bringing back everything. Our whole list of movies is nostalgia.
Like when you bring back,
I meant that with like reboots, it just made me think of us.
No, yeah, like
it's sad.
You bring back shows that didn't need to be brought back. They ended in good places. You took a perfectly good show and you gave it anxiety. Like,
just looking at you, Grey's Anatomy.
Put that thing back where it came from.
They need to just stop with Grey's Anatomy.
They really do. I think Ellen Pompeo is coming back for a couple of episodes this season.
Because you just end the show.
You can't have Grey's Anatomy.
Shonda, you have other projects.
She's like, at this point, like she's not even like really working on it. It's just under her production company.
Well, like when it comes to Grey's, I reached the point that I'm like, keep Station 19 going, and you can have your Grey's staff.
Didn't Station 19 end?
I have no idea. They made you watch. That's why we stopped watching Grey's, because they wanted us to watch Station 19.
I'm pretty sure Station 19 got canceled.
Good. It didn't need to be existing in the first place. See, we have strong feelings about television shows.
Did you know we have strong feelings about television? On our TV and media podcast?
On our 14th special?
Is this our 14th special?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, Station 19 was canceled this past in 2024.
Yeah, this is gonna be like our 14th or 15th special.
Go us.
Because if I go into my specials tab, let me see.
Oh yeah, you have a thingy.
Based on our specials tab that I keep all my notes for except for this one. Because we've already done 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay. In case you couldn't tell, this episode was very loosely scripted.
So this will be 14, and then I'm working on 2 more episodes. It'll be 15 and 16 of specials.
Okay. That's
and we
the
just
next movie,
recorded...
and then
I get to talk about AI,
and then our AI special.
I'm still working on my research. It's a fucking oh my god, it's so much.
I know.
There's so much information and so many things I need to say.
We will get there in its own episode.
I'm working on it.
We'll get there. But you know what doesn't use AI? Ghosts. I mean, I'm sure
I hope no one use it. Like, just stop. Not in media. Like, we don't need it for creativity.
No. AI creation is not creation. It's just
theft.
It's theft. That's the TLDR of what will be our AI special is Using
Generative
AI,
AI is
generative
theft.
AI is theft.
Anyways, let's not
Yeah.
get me started.
No, so let's just like overall, like, would you recommend Ghosts as a TV show?
God, yes. It's hilarious. It's heartfelt. With everything going on in this day and age, it's really also nice just seeing a happy moment and dealing with
Mm-hmm.
like actual human emotions, and because it leans heavily into being empathetic. It teaches
Yeah,
these ghosts that are honestly not all very good people. If you look at it, I think
correct.
Pete was the most innocent out of all of them, and
Oh
Sasapis, like
yeah,
those two are the most innocent out of the group. And because Roberta did some, like, everybody did some things.
they all had their
Yeah,
problems. Like they're not like all necessarily like the best people. I get Flower was just high and tried to hug a bear.
she's not the brightest.
She's not the
She's intelligent,
brightest.
but she's not the brightest.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and the thing is, like, for the most part, they're generally not good people. Like,
Yeah.
but it just proves that like it's a show about ghosts that we would assume to be stagnant, but showing that like it's never too late to learn new things
Hmm.
and to grow as a person, even when your body is not moving and you can't eat or touch things.
You just smell food all the time
You just That's how they get their kicks, is they just walk into the kitchen and smell whatever Jay is cooking.
and beg for pizzas to be ordered.
Yes. That's how they really use the Amazon Alexa, is they just use that to keep ordering pizza.
Yeah, I was just watching, like, just refreshing my brain, watching and Trevor's texting on Sam's phone because it's on the charger,
Yeah.
and Sasapi's like, "Hey, we should open the Domino's app. We should open the Domino's app. Like, let's
Yep.
stop doing this and let's order pizza."
Yep.
Like,
Sass has his priorities in check.
he does. Thank you all for listening. Join us back at our regularly scheduled time to talk more about all things Once Upon a Time and Bob's Burgers. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It is hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.